that better? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Brook Eneas, and I am the CEO of Rock the Stage Fitness. And this is a new podcast for girls who are interested in getting into the best shape of their lives for the pageant stage. You may also be a model or just wanting to get in pageant ready shape. So I'm just happy to have you here and to be able to invite you into this launch. Now, I've been able to invite former clients and some really beautiful girls onto our platform as we are launching this new app, one of which is here today by the name of Erin Houston. You're going to love her. But I'm going to give you a formal introduction of who she is. And if you could do me a favor, go ahead and like, share, subscribe so that you can make sure that others also get in on all this goodness. That would be amazing. So let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about who Erin is and really the beautiful soul that she just embodies. So today's guest is a definition of confidence, leadership, and heart. Erin Houston is Miss Virginia USA 2025, a dynamic communicator, a talented performer, and a woman who carries her crown with purpose and impact. She's been featured in Northern Virginia Magazine, Taste of Nova, and even flew with the Blue Angels. That was really awesome to see, while inspiring young students through NAS Oceana, proving that a title holder can be both glamorous and deeply grounded in service. She uses her platform to advocate for mental health, community engagement, and empowering young women across Virginia. And beyond the stage, Erin is known for her warmth, discipline, and commitment to excellence. I've also had the privilege of working with her during her fitness prep journey for many years, where we met at a PR pageant coaches weekend, witnessing firsthand her dedication and her heart for growth. I am so excited to welcome the phenomenal Erin Houston to the show today. Erin, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. Thank you, love. So excited to have you. I always describe you as a girl's girl. You're so amazing to me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes, you're welcome. So, I am sure that all of our viewers want to know you a bit better. So, let's just
Okay,
start off with some fun. Okay.
let's start.
This year was exciting for you. Crowned Miss Virginia USA, had just a
Yeah,
lot of great experiences, rocked the Miss USA stage under new leadership, which is exciting. But
yeah.
I want to know what was, I guess, the most memorable moment that made you laugh or smile this year?
This year, smiling wise, you spoke a lot about like the things that I've accomplished during my reign, but I think I had actually a moment a few weeks ago where I'm starting to meet the new contestants for the 2026 Miss Virginia USA pageant.
Yeah.
And I actually got to meet a few of them and hearing this one particular woman coming up to me and saying like you inspired me to continue my education and continue learning and growing in that field, and that just brought so much joy to me. So that's something I kind of keep in my back of my pocket when I'm having a down day of just this role means something and we are impacting women and young men across the entire United States.
You never know.
You never
You just
know
never
what it
know.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's really
cool.
special. And I love that you were even vulnerable enough to say on a down day, because nothing,
Yeah.
even in this journey, right? It really, and we talked about this during your time of prep, like it has to come from the inside. Happiness, the level of joy, just in this entire process has to be something that's cultivated and really
Yes.
curated by you. But to know that others are watching and that it inspires them is definitely deeply moving. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm happy that that made you smile because it's making me smile too.
Yeah.
Okay, outside of pageants, what do you do to have fun? Any guilty pleasures or hobbies?
Gosh, I hate this question because I'm a full-time like employee in the marketing industry. I'm Miss
Uh-huh.
Virginia. I'm also in grad school at Georgetown. So like my time for fun and hobbies is very, very small. But hobbies wise, I love shopping, especially online shopping. Like if you were a friend of mine, I've probably asked if I can dress you
Oh
and
yeah.
I love fashion. And then I live in like the Northern Virginia area, so I'm a big foodie. We have so many different types of food here, so many different cultures here. So just trying new foods from different cultures.
So I might be DMing you about some wardrobe, but
Please. I, as my time comes to an end, like the amount of events I have to go to is coming to an end. So I have like all of these fashion ideas, and I'm like, I want to dress somebody. But yeah. I'll help you out. My poor teen, like I just constantly send her clothes all the time.
Yes. Good for you. And honestly, we saw some of your fashion sense, right? Even this year, I was like, "Oh, Erin." And it would be like tastings like at different restaurants or I'm like, "This is
Yeah.
super cute." So you definitely live up to that. Awesome. Okay. Well, cool. Okay, so last question for me. This is actually one that I wanted to ask you for a long time and I kind of I talked about this with you or at least I texted you and I'm like, "Both of your parents were in the military?" How was
Yeah.
that growing up? Can you tell us, did that mean like you had to live super disciplined as a child? What does that look like being raised by active military?
Yeah, so both of my parents were Marines. They both
Mhm.
served 25 years in the Marine
Wow.
Corps. And I think when people learn that fact about me, like I can say like yes, it was very strict, but
Mhm.
it was definitely a situation where you're in an environment where all the other kids around you are also have military parents and they're living
Sure.
a very similar lifestyle.
Mhm.
And we were moving every 2 years to different countries, to different states. And so that was just kind of a norm, and you just kind of get used to it. I think now being in the adult phase of my life and seeing all of those learnings and attributes of that lifestyle to now an adult, like I didn't realize that I was such like I make my bed every single morning to like a T, and that's definitely something that I got from my parents being in the military. Um, but I think it just taught me so much about sacrifice and looking out for others. And that's something that's definitely translated into being Miss Virginia USA,
Yeah.
into working towards a goal in grad school, or even just like being on a team in the corporate world and just having like good friends and just like looking out for your friends. So I think it was pretty strict, but it was a lot of fun. Like, there's no way I would have ever been able to live 4 years in Japan. There's no way I would have ever been able to. I mean, other than Miss USA, having friends in every single state now,
Yeah.
but now I also have friends that are across the globe, and I know anywhere I want to travel, I can just like, call somebody up and be like, hey, like, what are you doing? It's so lovely to see you. And the amazing power of social media, all those friends that I made when I was two, three, four in Japan, they're now all back in the States as well, pursuing their goals at 20s. And I just watched someone that was like my best friend when I was 5, like she DM'd me and was like, congratulations on Miss Virginia USA. And just I got to watch her graduate law school, so that was like really, really amazing. And to think like that's what we talked about when we were 5 years old, and to see us like actually living that dream is pretty awesome.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Childhood dreams, right? Sometimes get lost in translation as you're growing up because of
Mhm.
just life, right? Culture. And so for you to have that level of just fulfillment at this
Yeah.
age, like you don't think you fully realize it, but I think that as you continue to grow, because I'm a little bit older, you'll just look back and say, "Oh my gosh, like I that was really, really, really special." And
Yeah.
even before logging in, we were in the green room, kind of chatting before we went live today, and you just talked about how nothing is lost. I love that statement. Can you just share with our audience what that means?
Yeah, we were kind of talking on, I know I kind of coined this term like post pageant depression, where you've
Yeah.
worked so, so hard. You've dedicated your time, your money, your energy towards this like dream that you've had for so long.
Yeah.
And it's just so much work, both mentally and physically. And I always just like stayed very true to like just having faith in the process, and just knowing that that was never wasted energy. Like when
Yeah.
you work towards, I competed for Miss Virginia USA for 5 years, got to compete for Miss USA
Wow.
once, 'cause those are the rules. But um you dedicate all of this, and then you get to that moment, and that moment it's not chosen for you, and
Mhm.
that's okay. And you have to know, like, you kind of go into it being like, if this isn't my moment, that's fine. With
Mhm.
Miss Virginia USA, I think it was a different mental, because I knew I had another chance of like, okay, I'm just personally not ready yet for this role. Like, I need to continue growing. And that was always my mindset. And I knew that was never wasted energy that I put towards this goal, because I knew every year I just continued to level up. As for Miss USA, because you get one chance at it, that was a little bit different mindset of like, this just like this isn't the path that's going to take me to where I need to go next. I always looked at Miss Virginia USA, at Miss USA, as a stepping stone to like what I wanted to do next. So I knew there was always a path. I always have faith in the path. But when I didn't get it, I wasn't called into top 20. It was very clear. It's like, okay, that just isn't the stone that's
Yeah.
on the next thing of the path, which sucks to hear because you really, really want that and you know you can do an incredible job. But at the same time, you love all the girls around you, and you also know that they will do an incredible job and represent the system and all of us, our class, so well. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a mixed emotion, but I think at the end of the day, just knowing it's never wasted energy, and it's the way I like to explain it to my friends is like life is just kind of a GPS. Like it's gonna get you to the destination that you need to go, but like if you feel like you've made a wrong turn, it's going to reroute you. It's always going to bring you back to that path.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's never wasted energy. You're going somewhere. It's ebbs and flows, and but that's life, and that's what makes it fun.
Spoken with such maturity and super graceful and authenticity, do you feel like your parents and your upbringing helped you to cultivate that level of mindset? Or is it just something that you just along the way just adopted?
I think they definitely have credit in that mindset for sure. I think my mother is a very wise woman, and I come from a very, very strong line of strong women. So we're very independent, and we're just very, how do I say, like, we're raised to really just like to believe in my abilities and to believe what I can do as an individual, and
Mhm.
just know that there was a path for us and there was a reason for everything, and also knowing that I had a community behind me to pick me up if I was ever down. Yeah, and I think like one of the very strange things about my family dynamic, that with having two military parents, that I think I didn't even realize until I was thinking about it the other day, and I don't
Uh-huh.
think a lot of people also realize this, but my father was deployed twice, once to Iraq, once to Afghanistan, but my mother was never deployed. So there was 2 seasons of being a young child where I kind of watched my mom be a single mother for about a year each and navigate having 2 children. She always, like, her number one thing, especially for me, knowing she was raising an eldest daughter, was just you can be it all, you can do it all, like just
Mhm.
stay like steadfast and like who you are, where you want to go. And so watching her navigate being a mother, being a daughter, being a sister of 2 other sisters, managing a career and 2 kids at the same time, and still being able to hang out with her friends and still doing things that she loved, I think really cultivated all of that discipline that I have now, and how I've been able to manage Georgetown, Miss Virginia USA, a
Wow.
career, and then still be able to hang out with like friends and live life and have some fun and celebration like while we're at it.
Yes. Wow. That was a mouthful.
Yeah,
And I think that first off, I'm just going to pull out this fact that the women around us really do matter.
yeah,
Whether your mom is like Erin's mom or not, or if you just have women around you who just have a certain mindset about life and just the pursuit of really happiness and making sure that things are of course, responsibilities are taken care of, but that also that you are taken care of is such a gift. And
yeah.
if I just want you to take a moment, if you're watching, to kind of consider like who is surrounding you because the team matters.
Hmm.
And you know, just this journey, Erin, I know that you had a great team around you, starting with, of course, PR pageant coaches, which we love. The president of that company is Jules
We
Meyer.
sure do.
Yes. And I've been able to coach alongside them in partnership for a very long time. And while I do most of the fitness coaching for the girls, including you, it's been just a beautiful journey of watching sisterhood through
Mm,
just that entire collab. And so women, of course, around us that are older, wiser, really do matter. But then having sisters, you said it a few times. You talked about the women who were this class of Miss USA, that
mhm,
they're all incredible, right? They have just so much to bring to the table. Can you
mhm.
just talk to me then just about how you choose really good friends or just sisterhood in general? Why is that important for, especially during pageant prep, just to have that level of community?
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons. Like, one is because, well, I will say it of the way me and Brooke sometimes talk about, actually, like pageant prep and fitness pageant prep, sometimes we talk about it in the terms of like a sport. And I have always like talked about like, oh, this is my first individual sport. And the great thing with PR pageant coaches is like we are like, no, this isn't just a you journey. This is like the entire team is coming together. So, but I mean, there is a very real mental game when you're going through a pageant of comparison. And I feel like the easy route is to always be mean to yourself and compare yourself and then try to, maybe look at someone else and be like, well, I'm better at this, or they're better at that. And so it's good to have friends surrounding you going kind of through the same journey as you because they can relate to that feeling. And I think it's so crucial to be like that comparison and trying to really like hone in on yourself is such a natural response to something that you want so badly or a very stressful situation. And I think it's important to have girls going through the same thing because they're doing the exact same thing and you can come together and we can work on that together and we can help each other stop doing that. Like, I remember at Miss USA, I was very close friends with Michelle, who represented Michigan, Hannah, who represented Ohio, and a ton of other girls, Allison, who represented DC. And we would see as like really close friends that like we were starting to be mean to ourselves and compare. And it was as friends our role to be like, you need to stop doing that and bring them back up to where we needed to be like mentally to get through the week or just to like perform at the highest level. So I think that's really important to just not make yourself feel bad for comparing yourself. It's very natural. Everyone does it, but it's also important to have that team to fall back on of like, we love you. We're not going to let you do this to yourself. So that's been amazing. And that's been something too with PR pageant coaches as you're going for your state title or your local title as well, which was incredible. And I think another really good factor when it comes to like choosing friends during the pageant journey is surround yourself with women that, you don't have to like want to be exactly who they are, but like these women are so accomplished. And if you surround yourself with accomplished, ambitious women, you're going to be doing the exact same thing. Just everyone's like helping everybody like level up. And that's like the whole point. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned this in another episode, but sometimes it's interesting because in life, people really do stop dreaming. At a certain stage, you can just get in a rut and the routines of life kind of take over and you just forget to keep dreaming. And so to
Mm-hmm.
have friends who, and just sisters that surround you who are still living, dreaming, ambitious, and still have some level of, again, just there's balance in that, right? Because we're not running after a trophy to make us feel a certain way. I feel like, as I've already mentioned, like from the inside out, like you really have to live. And so knowing what fits for you and what doesn't, not just doing things just to add it to your resume is really important because you want to live authentically. And it just makes a difference in terms of inner fulfillment. So let's just segue there. We are so not on script, but I love this conversation. Let's just segue there really quickly. Um, how did you, in terms of like, of course, being surrounded by others is great, but internally, when Erin was faced with Erin looked at herself in the mirror. What gave you the drive to keep going on those dark days and in the moments in which you were like, this is just a bit too much? Georgetown, working
Yeah.
again at a marketing firm, training, for Miss USA.
Yeah.
How did you just keep going?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of, that military tie that we talked about, that
Mm,
military mindset. But I think there would be two phrases that kind of like would like get me out of bed. One of which was, it's not motivation, it's discipline. Just, and like, because I mean, it not like, I'm not motivated every single day to like get up at 4 and work out, do work, do school, whatever. Like it just like you're not motivated every single day. You don't feel your best every single day. That's just the truth.
mhm,
But you have to be disciplined and just doing it when you don't want to do it because you have to get it done. I think like when I said that, I was like, I would always say like, it takes what it takes. Like you're going to be on that Miss USA stage. It takes what it takes to get there. So do it. And then another one, this next one is like probably not like the kindest one, but
Mhm.
I would always like be like, well, because I mean, we're all following each other on social media. And I was like, you're not in the gym, but she is. Why aren't you? She's
Mm.
working her butt off. Like, you're just going to let her like take the easy win? Like, no. Like, get in there and work for this dream because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just discipline and being like, the dream never sleeps. So, if you're thinking about it every day, you need to be getting in the gym every single day. And I would always feel so much better after like if I wasn't motivated, like I'm in the gym
Mhm.
and now I'm like listening to my tunes and I'm like, oh, here it is. Now I'm motivated. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it just made me feel better. And I was the psycho that had to wake up every single day at 4 a.m. to work out.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like the perfect start to my day.
Mhm.
And the way I would describe it to like my coworkers, because that started to spread around my office of like, do you really wake up at 4? And I was like, well, yes, because you guys expect me at my desk at like 8. And I have things to do after, so I have to do full glam so I can go to this event. And I was like, yeah, but it was just the perfect morning. And they'd be like, how do you do it? I was like, you just get this like almost what I would describe as like a runner's high. It was just like this
Sure.
glorious like mood that you were in, and you just felt like you could accomplish anything for the rest of the day. And you already like accomplished something. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I love that, Erin, because I can attest that that is exactly the process that you took. And I would message at times where you'd be like, "Yep, I'm already in the gym." And it's
Yeah.
I appreciate discipline. I may not love it every day, but the
Mm-hmm.
effects of discipline are just second to none. And it's especially when it comes from a place of just knowing at the end of it all that you're benefiting yourself, right? It's not out
Yeah.
of self-hate. I'm
Yeah.
punishing myself. And I think that sometimes when it comes to fitness and pageantry, we again talked about this a little bit, but sometimes girls are taking so many shortcuts because they are really, I mean, it is a crucial game and the route that you take matters, right? So either you're going to look back at this and say, I absolutely appreciated every moment in that gym. It made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
It helped my mood to settle. I felt like a winner, right? A champion
Yeah.
after being able to tackle, maybe some intense workouts, but it made me better versus looking back and being like, I hated every moment of it. I hated it and I didn't love myself through it, all the negative things. So it just really depends on the route that you take. I took all the shortcuts, I did all the compromising things. Like that's to me really nothing to look back and smile about, even though you
Mm-mm.
can learn from it still. But I'm just like, just enjoy it from the start. And I wanted this to be a happy place for girls, even as we were training and preparing. And I'm happy to hear your story. But let's just talk just generally just about that. Like, what were you struggling with the most beforehand? Because we've worked together for so long. So
Mm-hmm.
before, what made you even want to say, hey, I probably need to get some coaching in this area of prep?
Yeah, what really started like me reaching out to you and PR pageant coaches really was just coming from the mindset of being an athlete. I played
Mhm.
lacrosse in high school and in college, and so I
Yeah.
never didn't have a coach. I'd always wanted to do pageants, but when I finally made a decision of like, okay, we're gonna try, I was like, I don't even know where to start. I felt like a chicken with its head cut off, and I was just like, where do I even begin? And I was like, there has to be, obviously, like you grow up seeing like the TLC Toddlers and Tiaras,
Yeah.
and there was like another like pageant TV show, and those were coaches. So I was like, I know there's coaches out there who can help me get to the finish line. So when I did finally get you as my fitness coach, I think our biggest struggle in the very beginning was a lot of doubt on my end, of just in the sense of like I had been an athlete, I had worked out before. I didn't necessarily like when you're an athlete, you're training for strength and you're training for
Yeah.
speed and just like a performance based goal.
Mhm.
Whereas now it's like my time in the gym had switched to something about, just make strength in the way of like, making sure I didn't like wobble in my heels, but also it was a little bit more like, we're trying to lean out your body, like we're trying to emphasize this great like portion of your body. It was more performance, but also aesthetics.
Yes.
So that was very different. And so when you had called me and you're like, it's very ballet, it's very Pilates, this is the diet, I was like, I really don't think this is going to be any different than what like these hardcore, like athletic, like college workouts that I used to do. And you're like, sometimes there's two-a-days. And I was like, two-a-days? Like for this? Like this doesn't make any sense. So there was a lot of doubt. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let her guide me through this and we'll see what happens. And I remember the very first workout that you sent me, the next day I was so sore. I remember like going up to my mom, like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm an athlete. Like, how am I sore from this workout? And then obviously diet has always been tricky just because I'm a big fan of food and pasta. But you saw right away that my stomach and like my gut area was just irritated, and that's where we kind of started with like taking gluten out of my diet,
Mhm.
and watching how quickly my body reacted to that was insane. I have a
Yeah.
cousin that's actually like, she's celiac, and so we were able to bond over that moment and share like tips and tricks, but like also showing her that process, and kind of doing that journey together was really cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of girls whose families are actually super inspired as they watch you all really engage in this process. And I'm a holistic practitioner, like everything that I'm teaching, I really want it to be sustainable. And then two, non-threatening. So when you leave me, you're able to move on with your life if you want babies, if you want all the things to enjoy life. And again, it's not wrecking this beautiful body that we've been given. And so I love that your cousin was able to benefit from that.
Yeah.
And two, what most people don't understand is that even though you might start like with athleticism, whenever you
Mm-hmm.
change the methodology and it's different, like we're doing micro movements and we want
Mm-hmm.
muscle memory. And that's why we're
Mm-hmm.
able to get the results that we get. That it's a different burn. It's different. I've had super big guys when I taught at a gym walk into my class and they couldn't even finish because the
No.
workout is just so different. And so I love that it worked for you. We saw the results literally firsthand, and it was so inspiring along the way because a pageant stage does require a different look. And so
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I'm so happy that we were able to get the results. And it wasn't just one time, it was like every single time we worked together. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about
Yeah.
food prep for girls who are just like, I don't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And you being a foodie, there are some delicious options right where you are. So then,
Yeah.
yeah, just how does that work for you in terms of planning and preparing?
Planning and preparing. It's tough at first, but I would
Mhm.
always, after like, you do the Brook method, rock the stage girl, after your like first week, it just slowly becomes easier and easier and easier. Um, and so food prep wise was like another kind of form of discipline because I really wanted Sundays to be dedicated rest days and like prep days for like the following week. I became very type A of like, this is everything I'm doing this week, and like planning like every meal, every time I was able to take a nap, like down to the minute. So just like having the discipline on Sundays to be like, okay, like I'm exhausted. This is a rest day, but like I need to prep for the next week and just like kind of honor my body that next week in a day because the weeks go by so quickly.
Very quickly.
So quickly. So just like prepping as much as I could beforehand, looking at my schedule and seeing like if I needed to wake up at 4 a.m., what days were best for me to take a break. Like if I had like a really, really crazy day and just really needed like just rest that day or just like nothing else on my plate because
Mhm.
it's exhausting and you're all of a sudden like you're just like I don't want to say like walking more, but like now I'm walking to here in my work. Now I'm walking to an event. Now I'm walking around the entire event meeting people. And just also really prioritizing rest was really helpful for us. I think I remember like I would feel guilty of like, I think I need a day. And she's like, no, like that sometimes can be more beneficial for your body
Absolutely.
than just truly straining it. And I think if there was ever weeks where we're like, let's try 2-a-days, just being able to like fit it all in my color coded calendar as much as I could, or if I didn't have any time, like what can I do at my like desk, like while I'm
Yeah.
sitting or like in between meetings, um, and stuff like that. It was just
Yeah.
really just becoming type A and
Hmm.
penciling in every minute of my
Hmm.
day.
Yeah. Another level of discipline. And the truth
Yeah.
is, whomever is to win, this is exactly what's going to be required, right? The level of stamina to be able to carry out whatever responsibilities you're going here and there and everywhere. And
Yeah.
so it really is just a test run for what is to come and making sure you are taking care of yourself. I always try and encourage girls, to supplement because you're just so busy, making sure you're taking green drinks with you,
Hmm.
making sure that you have what you need to take care as you are now serving, because that's what you are. You're now a public servant, and being able to really fulfill the role of this title. And so I
Yeah.
love that you did it. And there were weeks that you hit the bullseye, and then there were some days where we were just like, okay, I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But prioritizing rest is one thing I think girls totally underestimate. Rest is actually the number one way to recover the body. And it will, like you said, pay greater dividends than just pressing and grinding through, which will really make you, again, deflated. It makes you tired and it makes you
Hmm.
sick. And so those rest days are absolutely pivotal. And your body will respond better when you give it what it needs. So,
Exactly.
Erin, what would be if you had one last statement to our audience today in
Yeah.
terms of inspiration? What do you want people to remember about you and your story?
Um, Me and my story. I hope when people are able to look at my reign, I, gosh, see, this is a question that like is starting to like you hate to hear it just because you know that means it's like the end, and then it makes you all emotional. Gosh, I hope something that my friend Hannah, Miss Ohio USA, said to me when we were out in New York for New York Fashion Week that left such a mark on me,
Mm.
was that when you make it to the table, be sure to like bring your friends. And so I
Wow.
think with my journey, when I won Miss Virginia USA, I really wanted to uplift every single community that helped me get to where I was, like my military community, and showing those girls that with your hectic lifestyle, like you can still do things and you can still aspire to be who you want to be, and my Virginia Beach community. And then also just like any contestant after me, any Miss Virginia USA after me, that I was setting them up to live the best year possible and making sure that all my hard work wasn't just for me, it was for somebody else. And so I hope people look at that and see that and just know that, you can always come to me if you ever need anything. And I'm more than happy to help you. I think that's another really important lesson that pageant girls learn through this journey of like, just because someone accomplishes something, someone wins, it like that doesn't take anything away from you. So, and your accomplishments. So, I just really just wanted to help others live their best life as well as I was aspiring to live mine. So yeah.
So just beautiful, so pure. And it's really who you are. And I'll just kind of circle back to our beginning of our time together today in conversation. And I think that young lady who came up to you and said, "You have inspired me to do XYZ," is
Yeah.
just a true testament, Erin, of what you just said. So you can
Thanks.
check that off your list, right?
Thank you. Oh,
And I think
stop.
it will, in perpetuity, be something that others will look back and say, "Yep, that Erin Houston,
Yeah.
that's my girl, right? That was the one who became a goal of mine or icon in which I'm truly inspired." So thank you for your life, Erin. Thank you for just your light and for allowing others to be able to kind of get a peek in to who you are today. Truly
Thank,
appreciate your presence.
thank you. Thanks for letting me ramble on. I could like go crazy. Do actually, in fact, when people ask me like who, like, I just talk about you 24/7 with people and how great you are. Thank you for having me today and helping me spread your message as well.
That is amazing. Oh, thank you. And I
Thank
want to
you.
say thank you all so much again for watching. I hope that you gained something. And now, if you're ready to literally rock the stage and you want to go to another level of life, I'll post my information below. Would love to be able to talk with you to make sure it's a win-win so we can get you ready for the stage. Swim is the easiest place for you to get all the points because you prepared beforehand. And
Mhm.
aside from that, please do like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you thought. But more importantly, take what Erin said today, watch it again, and also tune into the other episodes from our former clients so that you can kind of hear their stories. I guarantee you it will inspire something deep on the inside of you so that you can become and live honestly at your very best. So thank y'all for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.